I'm talking to John Knorr, CEO and founder of SIS Business Systems. John, today we're talking about national partners. What sort of organisation is Uglii looking for as a national partner?
Joe, national partners can be any sort of organisation, and there's been quite a few set up very specifically to be national partners in their own right. They're not part of any other industry organisation, so they just come into the system to be national partners.
Right.
So
they're not
it's a role, really. It's a role that allows that organisation to appoint affiliates and those affiliates to register businesses. So yeah, a national partner is an organisation in a structure that basically recruits affiliates. Now, for doing that, of course, they get a revenue privilege in the system.
Right.
In the Uglii system, for a percentage of the revenue that's generated in the system by sales of services to the businesses that are below them is apportioned to the affiliate automatically on a 2 weeks billing cycle.
Right.
So, yeah, it's about revenue, very much about revenue. There are also marketing advantages for organisations that are national partners. For example, when a business registers, it gets a free control panel. Right. Into which it can log in and have access to the control panel, and it can do a whole lot of things. Right. From that control panel. For example, it can improve its discoverability in the Uglii Find system. It can buy services in the various Uglii services, and it can also see some of the promotional material of the global partner and the national partner. Right. That may be relevant to that business.
Right.
Okay. So the national partner's got privileges of marketing its own services. There are marketing advantages for national partners that are of particular industries. Okay, for example, those in the postal industry have got big advantages. They can market their own postal services to those businesses. Right. If they're from a telco, if the national partner is a telco, then it can market its own services to those businesses, and so on. So if it's in broadcast media, then it can advertise its radio and TV advertising services to that business. So right. It's really got a captured audience for its own services, sure. As well as making money. Right. Out of the commission arrangements within the system. Sure. So it's a very lucrative and powerful marketing tool for every national partner.
So the national partner's job is to appoint affiliates. Yep. Who will then register businesses. Yep. The affiliates get a commission, yep. And so do the national partner.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Now the affiliate commission tends to be larger than the national partners commission because it's the affiliate that's doing all of the work of engaging the businesses and looking after those businesses. So the national partners gets less commission, but of course it's got very much a leverage position. If it's got a lot of affiliates out there working for it, it can sure. Accumulate a lot of relationships. Right. Beneath it very, very, very quickly. Right. Okay. So it's not only getting the revenue from those accumulated businesses that are under it, but it's also getting the ability to market its own services back to those.
So if a national partner comes into the system, has it got any branding privileges?
Joe, in the control panel it's got branding privileges, and they relate to its ability to market its own services to the business. Businesses generally see the website of an affiliate, and of course consumers and households that want to do searches and businesses that want to do searches are coming into the affiliate's website to do their searches. So it's really the affiliate that's got the branding privileges with the system, right. more than the national partner. Sure. But the national partner's got these very powerful privileges in the control panel of all of the businesses that are below it. Sure. So can't emphasise how important those what we call links privileges are for. Okay. There's a proviso. There's a qualification to that, however, in that the only services that they can offer to businesses have got to be business related. So it's about the growth or helping that business do business. Those services have got to be business-related services.
Right, okay. Yeah. Now, revenue, of course, comes from businesses that purchase services within the system.
Yep.
So these are purchased annually? They're renewed every year, pretty much?
Well, some of the services are annual services that have a subscription duration to them, and they tend to be annual. But there are other services like making offers to consumers or to businesses that have an instant value. That's a one-off fee for that process. So, there's two types. And
so it'd be an escalating revenue stream.
We do a lot of modelling. We've been developing these systems for 12 or 13 years. So we're constantly modelling what we know about business behaviour as we tested the systems in the marketplace, particularly here in Australia. And what we know is that there will be an escalation of revenues for national partners off a fairly low base in the first year as businesses get comfortable and get registered in the system. But we know from our modelling and our testing that as that happens, the businesses start to buy services in the system or buy them more frequently or buy more services, and that rate of expenditure goes up. Now, none of the fees in the system are that expensive. They're not prohibitively expensive, but it's a numbers game. So if a national partner's got a good bunch of affiliates under it who are aggressive about getting businesses into the system, they can make a lot of money, and it will escalate.
And enduring.
It's enduring and escalating, which is the nice part of it. Part of the reason for the escalation is not only the additional services that we're bringing into the system, but we also know that business, once they get into the system, the expenditure tends to go up because they can see their competitors in the system, which sort of causes them to spend a little bit more money in the system just to keep up with their competitors. So they're sort of forced into this process of spending a bit of money in the system. And if they're specialised in a specialised area of the economy, such as brand owning businesses or governments, or telcos or credit card systems and so on, then that expenditure escalates quite a bit. There's some fairly expensive services for them, but big ticket items, big ticket services. So the commissions on those can be quite substantial. But they're all high value services for those businesses.
What's the process of becoming a national partner?
Well, a national partner needs to be appointed by SIS or Uglii, but that's on the recommendation of a global partner. So any organisation that has the potential to bring in affiliates below it can apply to become a national partner in their economy, but they need to deal with one of the global partners in the Uglii system. And there's a website for that, Uglii Global, .com. So it's UGLII global.com, and in there every country is listed, and the number of affiliate opportunities that are still available, and of course the number of national partner opportunities that are available, and which global partners want to deal with new national partners in that economy.
Okay, so there will be a limit to this, national partners and affiliates.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only a finite number of businesses in the world, even though the number's growing, it's still finite. So what we don't want is an oversupply of national partners, and in particular we don't want an oversupply of affiliates. We want all the people that are in the system in the roles of affiliates and national partners to be making very good money out of it. So, but we don't want to overflood the market.
Well, yes, with a limited number of, there is a limited number of businesses, so it's a bit of a land grab, John. It's
very much a land grab. Once a business is registered in the system, it stays registered, so that they've got no reason to come out and deregister and re-register. So that's we've made everything fairly, what we call in the industry, fairly sticky. So once a business is registered, it's fairly comfortable with that process, and they will stay put in that relationship. So yeah, it's very much a land grab. It's very much about affiliates being proactive and national partners in particular being proactive and looking for the global partner that may let them into the system.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a very competitive environment, and it will become increasingly competitive as people realise that there's a lot of money to be made out of the Uglii system, and the model that we've created for national partners and affiliates is very generous. There's a lot of money to be made by those organisations.
You're obviously looking for businesses that are reasonably aggressive.
Yep.
That have...
Joe, yeah, absolutely. This is not for the timid. Uglii is not for the timid.
Right.
Yeah, it's really about organisations that can get themselves organised and go out there and aggressively go after them. We've got some very, very good aggressive affiliates and national partners on board already, and they're doing excellently for themselves and for Uglii, which is very nice.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but there's no point in being timid, because as you say, it's a land grab.
Yep.
And those revenue streams are going to be dependent on how many businesses get registered under that national partner and the affiliates below the national partner. So it's very important.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So if there is a company out there or a business that wants to become a national partner, they should go to Uglii Global, UGLII. They can have a look at their own economy listed there as to whether or not there's still room for them.
Yep, absolutely.
And then connect with one of the global partners.
Yeah, there's links to all of the global partners that are interested in being involved in that economy. So it may not be all economies in the smaller economies.
And they need to be quick, and they need to be aggressive, or forget it.
All of those things, or forget it. Yeah, simple as that, yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, John.
Thanks, Joe.